Thank you, Swayam, for the glowing introduction. Thank you, everyone, for taking out time to be a part of the StackConnect. It's been a real pleasure hosting these events. And thank you, everyone from BrowserStack, for making this event happen. I know it's like a lot of effort behind the scenes to pull such an event off. Thanks, everyone. Now, to begin with, so Arvind and I were discussing. We have a set of slides. How are we going to split these slides? So both of us were taking dibs, and Arvind took the interesting part of AI in testing. So I'll probably talk about introducing BrowserStack, what we do, and follow that up with our key tenets as a company. How are we thinking about testing in general? How are we thinking about our product suite? What is our product vision? And post that, Arvind will pick up AI in testing. So bear with me for the next 15-20 minutes. You will not hear much about AI, but it will be the bedrock of what Arvind will be speaking. To start with, these are basically customers of BrowserStack. Nearly every Fortune 500 company uses us across industries, across geographies. In any industry that you take, you will find the market leaders using us, the challengers using us, and even the new age startups also using us. This is across different use cases, not just one testing products. Swayam was mentioning that I built Live. So when I was building Live, the common confusion that we always had while building the product was, am I building a B2C product or am I building a B2B product? Because we used to have customers who are freelancers, who are very small agencies, who are using the product to test the websites. At the same time, we have a huge enterprise also using the product. So we always try to balance both of those even while building the product at that scale. And that holds true even today. We have a wide variety of products, and most of these companies use majority of our product suite. And thanks to them, we are able to iterate, get their feedback, iterate on these products very fast. In India specifically, these are our stats. We are roughly, India is our second largest market. We have roughly 1.1 million users in India and 3,000 plus paid customers. And most of you will recognize all these logos of HDFC, Zomato, PhonePe, Razorpay. So these are all our customers who trust us with their testing needs, and we have been able to deliver excellent outcomes for them. Let me just give you a story of BrowserStack. Once upon a time, there was a browser called Internet Explorer.
गलत सवाल पूछ लिया कि हाँ हेलो सर सीख गया मैंने साउथ ईस्ट एशिया में होस्टिंग करके यही सब सीखा
Cool. I think the disturbance is off. Once upon a time, there used to be a browser called Internet Explorer, and that was the starting point of BrowserStack. The immediate pain point that we solved first was, how do I test in Internet Explorer? Because a lot of people had Mac and they had no way of accessing Internet Explorer. They had to download a VM, ensure the entire setup is done before they could get to start testing. When the CEO emails the tester, this is broken, nobody had the time to do all of that. And they immediately wanted a solution, and BrowserStack was that solution at the beginning. And most of this development that you see on this slide is very organic. It's not that, it's hard to admit, it's not that I as a product leader came up with like a vision to build all of this. Most of this is the customers pulled out of us. So we had Internet Explorer and we moved to cross-browser testing. One second. An issue with the clicker. Next slide, please. So when we moved to cross-browser testing, we were growing across geographies. So we wanted like nearly every browser. So we expanded not just from Internet Explorer. We added Safari, we added Opera, we added Yandex. Depending on the geography, we got so many requests that we had to add so many browsers, and we became a complete cross-browser testing solution. Now, once that phase was over, the next phase was the customers wanted to automate on these browsers. So we launched our automated product suite. After that was when people said we are still using emulators and simulators. And a lot of our customers were investing heavily on device labs. So whenever a new iPhone comes, they were going out to the market buying like multiple iPhones. And not just that, after they buy the iPhones, they need to have a separate room where they put the iPhone, air conditioning for the iPhone, keep the iPhone always in charge, have an access control system to access the iPhone. So there was like a huge setup. They were allocating floors within their offices to do this. And if even at that time, if they were working remote or if they had like distributed offices, one in Bangalore, one in Sydney, they didn't know where to buy the iPhone. Should I buy it in Sydney or should I buy it in Bangalore? What if I hire my next QA hire in Bangalore? What will happen? And they were shipping iPhones, shipping Android devices within different locations. So we wanted to solve that problem, and we said, okay, we will host real devices in our data centers and then make it available for our users. That is how Real Device Cloud was born. Now, once we had the Real Device Cloud, the customers asked for, okay, you are doing websites and you have a mobile device cloud. Why don't you offer app? That was like the next logical decision. So we moved to app testing. And then we acquired a company called Percy and launched visual testing. So this is how our product portfolio organically grew over a period of time. Now, what are we doing? Now the vision is very simple. How do we enable our customers navigate this change in AI? That is our complete focus. Like AI is changing the entire world of development. On the testing front, what should BrowserStack do to enable our customers navigate this change and ensure they get ahead of that? Now, we started working on this around 2022. From 2022 to 2026, we have sort of launched quite a few products. Most of these products, I'll probably talk about these later in like another slide. But most of these products are AI native, in a sense that AI is not like we are thinking about AI only now. It all started with AI as one of the backbones, as well as like they all form into a coherent test platform vision that we are building towards. And below are the stats, which I've already spoken about. Next slide. So introducing so in test platform, overall, how we approach. So I spoke about the tenets that we use for product, right? How we actually look at test platform is that we take a tester's journey. We look at every step of testing, and then we see, okay, how can I add value to this? How can BrowserStack add value to this step? And how can AI add value to this step? And that's how we basically look at the test platform. We can go to the next slide. This is like the most important slide. If there is one thing that you want to take away from the 15 minutes of my talk, it would be this slide. Probably for 2 or 3 reasons, because this forms the bedrock of how we think about AI. Number one, we want to ensure that we enable testing of any kind of application, be it like a web application, be it like a mobile application, or be it like an enterprise tool like Salesforce, Workday, or any such kind of tools, right? So that is like the number one philosophy for us. The second one, we want to enable any kind of testing within these tools. So we are not restricting ourselves to cross-browser testing anymore. We are not a cross-browser testing solution. We want to ensure every kind of test is possible in our platform. If a customer wants to do performance testing, we have a product for that. If they want to automate their visual regression test, we have a product for that. Accessibility, Arvind will provide more details. We have like an entire accessibility suite as well. Cross-browser, which we are already known for, and functional testing. So nearly every kind of testing we want to play a part in. So that is like the second important tenet. Now the third important tenet for us is we don't want to cater only to teams of specific maturity levels. We want to empower every single team out there. In any organization, you will find different teams with different priorities, different tool sets, different skill sets. And we want to be a solution which caters to all of these. Because when you are building an effective AI solution, you cannot focus on one specific type of teams and then build the solution for them. For an enterprise to see utmost value, you need to ensure every team is covered by the solution that you are adopting or putting in place. So that is one more thing. So this is like the third tenet. Now, when you look at the leftmost box, which is like manual testing, the goal there is to ensure that anybody who does manual testing, how do we ensure anybody who does manual testing is able to do it in an extremely productive way? So testing toolkit is one such product. Manual testing allows you, live testing allows you to do cross-browser testing. Testing toolkit, even if you're doing functional testing in your browser, it provides a set of tools that can help you fast track. This is like the first kind of team, which is doing purely manual. Now, you will have some teams which aspire to do automation, but their priorities are not right, or the time is not right now to invest in code-based automation. So for those kind of teams, we have like a low-code automation tool as well as a scanner. Low-code automation, basically low-code automation has been around for quite a while. Everybody has like their own war scars by using a low-code automation tool. There are different types of problems, etc. But we have taken, I would urge all of you to try our version of it and see whether it works for you. So low-code automation as well as website scanner is another tool which basically provides a stepping stone for your code-based automation journey. Though you may not have the bandwidth to invest in code-based automation right now, these products will allow you to take a step closer to that. The second is our entire test automation products. These are basically App Automate for cross-browser testing, Percy for visual regression, load testing, Salesforce automation as I spoke about. And we are also investing heavily on AI evals testing. These are upcoming, which should be launched in like next 2-3 months. Now, the best part about these automation tools, or nearly every other product here, is that this is like the fourth principle that I mentioned. We want zero friction for users to adopt a product. I don't want users to use one product and then for them to adopt the second product, I don't want them to go through the entire process again of doing it. Just to give you an example, let's say you are using BrowserStack for cross-browser testing automate. Suddenly you want to start using accessibility. It's just a flag change. You go and say accessibility true. You can immediately integrate accessibility into your products. So this capability is super important for driving adoption into all the teams within an enterprise. And it reduces the fragmentation of tools. Once the fragmentation of tools is reduced, you build a solid data layer on which your AI can then start performing really well. So we have the SDKs which power that. Once you use BrowserStack SDK, using any of these tools should be a cakewalk. Then comes accessibility, which Arvind will speak about later. I will not. He's like much more of an expert than I am. Then, so far I spoke about what you are testing, or how you are testing. How are you going to optimize what you are testing is the set of products there on the right. Test management, test reporting, and quality engineering insights, giving you the right kind of reporting, the right kind of tool set to monitor what you are testing, and giving you the right kind of insights to ensure that you keep progressing in your testing and make your testing efforts better. So for all of these, we have picked AI agents which help in like test planning creation. We've looked at the entire workflow and we are building agents in all of these products. Now, the next immediate thing for us is whenever somebody mentions platform, this is like the tenet number 6. When somebody says a platform, all they mean is like, I'm going to give you like 10 tools. You need to use all the 10. But we know, we have been in the market for so many years. We know developers and QAs hate getting locked into any single platform. So one conscious choice that we have taken while building this product is to ensure we will integrate very openly. It is not that you need to use only BrowserStack products. Even if you use any other product, you will be able to plug that in seamlessly with your browsers, whatever products you use in BrowserStack, so that you can leverage AI as much as possible. That's why you see 100+ integrations, which are open and flexible. If there are integrations that are not listed here, we'll be happy to add those integrations as well, so that you can leverage the platform and AI at the same time without getting locked into a single platform for a long period of time. We can go to the next slide. This is tenet number 7. Whenever you look at a company building a set of products, they will have a flagship product and then the rest of the product seems like addition on top of that. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is take each product independently and ensure that it becomes a market leader within the team. Say, for example, when Arvind is building accessibility, he's not just building accessibility on top of what we have built already. he has basically built a rule engine completely from scratch, which caters both to web and app that was not present before. That rule engine catches 70% more bugs than whatever is available in the market. And there is like extensive R&D which goes into ensuring that rule engine Spectra is able to perform. And there is rigorous testing through even third-party vendors who test that and then certify that rule engine. So that's the amount of effort that goes into nearly every product here. Say live and automate testing, our North Star for live. I can speak for that because when I was building, that was our North Star. Our competition was not like any other provider in the market. Our competition for live was the device that you have in hand. How do I make live as fast and as responsive as the device that you have in hand? That was like the thought process that we were fighting towards. So I still remember we had like extensive discussions about like how do I connect time is like the metric, like how much time it takes for you to click on iPhone 17 and for it to open in BrowserStack. That metric we were optimizing like day in and day out to ensure that it is not as it doesn't take a lot of time than the device that you have in hand. Now, even while doing that, like we need to provide this across different selections of devices, across different manufacturers. We were tracking this metric meticulously to ensure we are offering the best experience for the customers, and that is true with nearly all the other products as well. Testing toolkit, we recently launched it, and that is seeing significant adoption within just the first 3 months. Test management, providers either build it on top of Jira or they basically build like a standalone test management. We want to do AI first, but that basically means we need the context. It will be great to have the context from Jira and as well as like accommodate the preferences of the customers if they want to use standalone. So we are building like a bi-directional test management tool, which is like one of the kind in the market. And test reporting and analytics, right now we have like analyzing 7 million tests. We are doing RCAs of nearly every failed test for customers who use us. They don't have to go around digging why is this flakiness in this test? How do I make this test more stable? We are taking care of all of that for majority of our customers. So the point that I'm trying to make is the tenet number 6. It's not that each of these products are not like just built as like a part of the platform alone, but each of these are viewed as separate product lines, which independent of the platform, when you evaluate, should be the best product in the market. And that is our vision. You can go to the next slide. More than me speaking about it, I think the video will do a better job here. You can play the video. Not this video. There is a video there. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things in this video. One was, you might have seen in the video somebody using live and then clicking accessibility insights, and then it shows the list of accessibility insights, right? What's happening is we are gathering all the insights on the background. So you can just browse any website just like you would normally browse, or test a website just you would do it for a functional testing. And our vision is to, in the background, ensure we collect everything that is required for other kinds of testing, so that we reduce the amount of time it takes for you to do you need not go separately doing accessibility testing again. We basically take all those insights, synthesize it for you, deduplicate it for you, and then present it to you so that it is immediately actionable. And it's not just between live and accessibility. There are like nearly every other product works well with other products for us. If you want to know more about how two products work together, we have some booths outside. So you can basically ask there on how different products work together, and that would be like a good starting point. So with that, I'll hand it over to Arvind for the AI piece.
Thanks, Ganesh, for walking through the hard part. He did the hard part, so now I get to do the easy, the fun part, and I get to show you some AI demos. I get to show you what we are building in terms of AI. And right after this, you'll have two expert session speakers as well, who are also going to be talking about AI. So it's going to be, the remaining part of this discussion is going to be just so much flooded with AI that you may get tired of it. But hey, that's what brought in most people anyway, right? We actually, as Ganesh mentioned in the beginning, or I think before him, StackConnect for us has been becoming quite big. Like a lot of people have been coming to these events. But this year around, for the 40, 50 plus events that we have done, we have noticed more than double the attendees of the previous ones or the previous years. I would like to think, or we would all like to think, that it's BrowserStack that's increasing in its pull. But that's not the case. It's AI that's increasing in its pull, and that's what's bringing in everybody, right? So I get to have a lot of fun. I get to tell you what we're thinking about in terms of BrowserStack AI and the use cases we're targeting. So let's get started. Swati. Before we get started into this, and before I'll give you some context, like we are from product, so we love to talk about the why. So we'll start with the why first, and then we will talk about what we have in terms of the why, right? When we went to our customers, so Ganesh walked you through how we were first a test infrastructure, and then from being a test infrastructure, we moved to a test platform, which allowed you to do different types of tests. And then from there, we now are trying to embed AI in every part of the journey, right? This is the what, but why are we doing this? When we went to our customers and when we asked them, saying, hey, we already are part of your testing journey, we already seem to be part of your test infrastructure, what more can we do for you? how much more can we help you with your day-to-day use cases? They gave us basically 3 answers. And I don't know if you're going to relate to these answers, but do tell me if you do. The first answer they gave us is that today my testing journey is extremely fragmented. I am thinking about test cases somewhere, I'm writing them elsewhere, I'm executing them elsewhere, I'm looking at reports elsewhere, I'm debugging elsewhere, and then I'm bringing it all together elsewhere, and then giving the report to leadership in some other place, right? So this is leading to fragmentation. Can you help me consolidate? This is the first thing that they asked us. But we are from product, so we didn't stop there. We said, why do you want us to consolidate? They said, because today with so much fragmentation happening, there is a split of data. When the data is split across these different tools, the context is split across different tools. When context is split across different tools, decision-making is split and decision-making is fragmented. So that became our first why. Think about how do you consolidate decision-making and how do you bring everything together in one place so that everything can happen together in a unified, coherent, cohesive manner, right? That was the first feedback that we got from our customers. The second feedback that we got from our customers is testing is a key enabler of quality, but testing is not just functional testing, which you guys allow us to do today. There is so much more to testing beyond just functional testing. There is accessibility testing, which I usually love to talk about. There is visual testing, there is load testing, there is API testing, there is security testing, there's pen testing, there's so much. Can you help us do all types of testing in your platform and not just functional testing? So that became the second insight that we were working on. The third insight is, okay, today a lot of our work is very mundane, it's a lot of grunt work, it's very manual. Can you help us automate? And the fork of that discussion point or that insight is, while you're helping us automate, do scripts, do workflows, etc., but can you help us with AI as well? Because fundamentally what AI is doing is helping you automate, right? It's helping you reduce the grunt work, it's helping you increase the productivity. So 3 insights. First, help me consolidate. 2, there is so much more to testing beyond functional testing. And 3, help me automate either the script way, the workflow way, or now the AI way. What Ganesh spoke to you about so far is the first 2 items. What you saw with the test platform is our ability to A, consolidate things under one umbrella, and B, to be able to help you do more types of testing beyond functional testing. What I'm going to talk to you about next is the automation piece, specifically with the AI piece. So that's the why. If you relate to this problem statement, I'm sure you'll find a lot of what we're going to be talking about relatable and things that you want to do, right? But before I start talking about AI, before I start talking about what are the use cases we are doing, quick show of hands, how many of you are already doing some part of AI in your testing workflows? I know you might be using Copilot. I know you might be using ChatGPT. There's ChatGPT Go right now. You have a huge deck coming up in terms of how you have deployed AI. But how many folks have actually adopted some form of testing in their QA life cycles? Okay, I see 2 hands, 3, 4. That's quite a lot of hands. Swam, do we have the mic to see if people can share their use cases? Folks who put their hands up, if you can just put it up again. And just share with us what are the use cases you're working on, right? What are the things you're building?
We from NatWest, we primarily are working on customer onboarding.
Sorry, I didn't get your name and company.
Vijay, NatWest.
Okay, please proceed.
So we from NatWest, we are primarily working on, I'm part of a domain where
Okay.
we have customer onboarding primarily. And there we are working with institutional customers. Okay? And then the testing part which we are speaking about primarily deals with a lot of redundant, as you said, mundane work, which we have to do again and again and again. So we want to reduce that. There are 2 ways now to look at this AI, right? One is optimization. The second part is innovation. Innovation is something which most probably people like you, product owners and product managers and all the people who are working with the clients who take that away. And the engineering team is left with optimization. So when we speak of optimization, what are the different areas of optimization we are looking at? And one part is testing. So when we speak of testing, the optimization primarily comes at test case generation or converting a proper undocumented requirement into a proper BDD format, which can be shared with everyone, which can stand as an ground truth which anybody can use, and then test cases, and then test scripting, and on top of it, like using all these things in order to provide a metric sort process. As you said, all of these are fragmented across a lot of places, okay? But the first step which we are taking from the product portfolio within our space, like me as a QA head, what we are doing right now is, we are trying to put through a process, or we are trying to integrate LLMs into a workflow. Most probably when we are speaking about integrating LLMs, we are not blindly trusting them. We are underscoring the parts where we are trying to bring in options in order to see how we can integrate LLMs. Rather than speaking about it, like we have already started doing it with the help of something like group code agents or whatever other forms of LLMs or the entire tech stack. The entire tech stack we have. So that's one activity which we are doing. And as you said, like we aren't planning to stop it with being a disintegrated content. What we are planning, which you don't seem to have, is basically we want to have a stack where the requirement flows from Jira, okay? And then from there, I don't want to go further anywhere back. Like that requirement can be anything which is free text. From there, it should be converted into a proper BDD. From there, it should be a proper test case should be generated. From there, automation script should be generated. And from there, I should be able to execute. And that's how your platform comes into picture. Like for execution, I don't have to rely on anything. BrowserStack has an inherent capability in order to do that. I may be able to complete the first 3 or 4, but for execution, then again, I will have to depend on CA parts, which can be done manually, which can be triggered. But all these things comes into picture. But you inherently have this opportunity in order to deal with that as well.
You already have the opportunity, I show you how we are leveraging the opportunity as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So we not only have the opportunity, I'll show you how we have leveraged the opportunity as well. We actually do a lot of what you just said. Start from a requirement, do the scripts for it, execute it, get the results, and all of that into the...
One challenge which I saw with your test booth when we were speaking is basically, when we were uploading a part of requirements in order to generate test cases, right? Like there's a lot of hallucination happening. Like
there's a lot of?
Hallucination.
Okay.
So basically, this is something which we faced as well. Like, and we put in terms and we put in guardrails in order to prevent that. Like maybe that's something which you may have to work on as well. That's it.
Would love to discuss that.
Yeah.
Like when we continue the discussion. We will take questions as well. Maybe one more use case in terms of people who have, it's a very mature implementation what they have. Anyone else wants to share their use case in terms of, okay, I see somebody.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so myself, Veera from Verizon. So one of the use cases that we are working on is the self-healing.
Okay.
That is one of the, getting the object changes fixed in our automation is one of the biggest challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we have taken up as part of this exercise is, so we have taken this playwright MCP. So we have started writing the use cases in the plain English format. We are trying to get that integrated with Copilot. Okay, when things are getting executed. So whenever there is a change, the MCP itself is trying to identify what is the change.
Nice.
And it's replacing the exact object which is changed.
Nice.
So that is one of the use cases we are trying to integrate.
Very cool. So we'll also show you about how we are also looking at healing and how we are doing that as well, right? So thanks for these use cases, folks. Very helpful. So clearly, the intent of this conversation is it's not about BrowserStack or it's not about 1 or 2 people, right? Like you're not alone. There's a lot of people who are yet to get started. And there are some people who have gotten started and they seem to be doing interesting stuff. So maybe in the next networking break, you can talk to these folks, figure out what they're doing. I'm sure a lot of people next to you raise their hands as well. So have a conversation, see what they're doing, and that should help, right? In terms of BrowserStack, what are we doing? And again, start with the why, right? We see all of this work happening with respect to AI. And what we see is that there's a lot of democratization that's happened. So a lot of people have become builders. And you take any precedence or you take any historic example for this. Anytime there is democratization or commoditization or large scale reach that is available, basically what ends up happening is there is an explosion in terms of number of people doing it, right? So now there's an explosion in terms of the number of builders and the number of things getting built. But who's going to test all of that? So in all these forums, the first question we get is, with all this AI coming in, our QA is going to be replaced? Or is there a problem here? Do you think there's going to be some issues here? The first thing we want to tell you and what we have noticed is, sure, what you might know today might need some tweaking. What you have experience or expertise yourself in today might need some tweaking. But with the explosion of apps, with the explosion of people building, there's going to be so much more that's going to need testing. Maybe what you test, maybe how you test, maybe all that will change. Maybe the fact that now you're going to be testing AI applications, which are fundamentally non-deterministic or probabilistic in nature, that changes. Maybe you use a different set of tools, and maybe those tools themselves have some sort of AI in them, and that changes. But the fact that, hey, there is so much getting built and so much that needs testing, that's not going to change. We only look at that getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So wanted to address that upfront because we get this question many times, right? The second aspect of it is, while people are doing this, while people are working on building and testing and all this explosion is happening, what you will see is there will also be an expectation in terms of increase in productivity. So if it took a week for people to come up with test cases, now the expectation will be, can you do it in a day? So what do I do the remaining 4 days? Provide your feedback in terms of how the experiences can get better. Do more types of testing. Don't do just functional testing. Do different types of testing. Try to learn scripting as well, or do low code. Try to make it repetitive. So there's going to be so much more contribution. So if somebody has been spending, say, 5 days doing manual testing and writing the test cases for a use case, after talking to the product manager at the end of the cycle, what might happen is they might start working with the product manager a lot earlier, and we are seeing this happen within our own teams, and they start doing so much more in terms of contributing to the experience, contributing to the end-to-end workflows, and contributing to different types of testing, because testing is just not functional testing when you talk about quality, right? So that's our observation here. Swati? This is just a representation of what we are seeing. So as more and more automation comes in, so obviously testing started in the manual way, right? In the manual era. Then we had scripts coming in, we had workflows coming in, and now we have AI coming in. So with all of this that's happening, what you will see is that the overall cycle time becomes lesser, or the expectation is that the cycle time will become lesser, while you focus more on not just coverage of functional cases, but coverage in terms of different types of test cases, while looking at increase in productivity as well. So how did we start with this journey? We saw all of this is coming, and you can go to the next one. We saw all of this is coming, and we went back to our customers again, because customers have pretty much been showing us the way from the cross-browser, cross-device journey, the way Ganesh mentioned, right? So we went back to our customers and said, okay, you helped us go from IE to cross-browser testing. You helped us go from cross-browser testing to real device app testing. You helped us go from there, which was a test infrastructure play, to a test platform play. Now help us become your AI providers as well. What are the things that we can do for you? So we sat down with them and we mapped their entire journey. We mapped every part of their job to be done. And we said, okay, where is the redundancy today? Where is the repetition today? Where is the time that you spend a lot and that's mostly repetitive work, which we can help you, or with which we can help you with some sort of automation, with AI, without AI, doesn't matter. Because even if you're able to get you 80% increase in efficiency, even if you're able to get you 60% increase in efficiency, that is still time saved for you to do other things. And that's how we came up with different examples, right? So our customers told us, and as he was mentioning, customers told us that, hey, test cases take so much time for me. I have to think so much about what are the happy flows, what are the edge cases, what are the environments that I have to think about, what is the scale I have to think about. So test cases take us so much time. Can you help us with test case generation? That was one of the first cases we did. Other customers said, see, we have a lot of errors, and some of our tests, they fail sometimes, they pass sometimes. They're very flaky in nature. We don't know why they are flaky. Are they flaky because the locators changed? Are they flaky because of a random timing issue? Are they flaky because of some code issue? Are they flaky because there is some dynamic elements like a pop-up or a modal that's coming in sometimes, it's not coming in sometimes? Is there a cookie banner coming up? So many examples, right? So all these examples gave us an idea of flakiness is a problem to solve. So can we do A, self-healing, and B, can we do a root cause analysis agent as well? So this is the thought, or this is the effort that went into building what we have built. And what I'm going to do now is to show you some of the agents that we already have in production and some of the agents that are coming up, and I'll also explain to you the use cases behind these. Swati. So whatever you see as upcoming is upcoming, no edge case there. And whatever you see as not as upcoming, these are all already in production, and you can actually trial some of these in our demo booths or with our sales folks or with our customer experience folks or engineering folks. And they'll give you a demo, they'll give you a walkthrough, they'll tell you what we have done and why we have done it as well. So I'm going to take one product of ours, which is test case management. And I'm going to tell you what are the agents we have in test case. Before we play the video, I'll just walk you through some of the whys, as I like to call it, right? Test case generation is already something I spoke about, saying why we do this. Test selection is something that's, in fact, a gentleman was asking me during lunch as well, that I have an increment in my PRD, I have some slight changes in what I already have. Can you go test only for that? Now, the answer is yes, we can. But fundamentally, the question is why? Why do you think we should test only for those? Anyone wants to just shout out the answer? Okay, maybe you need a mic, so I'll. Sorry? It can break something else, so you basically have to test everything then, correct? Sorry? Okay, why do you need to prioritize? Time. Perfect. If you don't optimize on time, what do you lose? Coverage you'll still get. It's basically investing more, right? You're losing, when you lose time, time is money. So you are basically spending more time, your team is waiting for a longer duration. You're occupying more infrastructure, because if you're having a parallel system, the way BrowserStack helps you do, you're occupying more infrastructure, and that will basically, it's costing you in terms of time, resource, in every possible way. So if all you're done, it's a very extreme example, but if all you have done is to add a comment, do you want 100 test cases running again? And occupying your infrastructure and blocking everybody else. Very extreme example, nobody does that practically, but hey, extreme examples make a case. So with that whole test selection agent, we said, what we'll try to do is to see what are the changes in your PRD, and corresponding to those changes, what are the test cases we have to run. And that was that one example, right? I genuinely prefer the handheld mic. This thing just keeps coming into the way. In terms of low-code authoring agent, and again, he was talking about it. Vijay, I believe, right? Did I get your name correct? Yes. So Vijay was talking about it. So there are a lot of folks who have manual skill sets. They don't have the automation skill sets as yet. But why should you not include them, right? Why do you want to not help them get the benefits of automation as well? So we said, if you can describe in plain English what you want to do, we will help you author those, and we will create the underlying scripts. And I'll talk about low code in a bit as well. In terms of test failure analysis, I just mentioned that, like, if the test is failing, if it's flaky, why, and what are the reasons that went into it, right? Test case maintenance is something that's very interesting for us. So basically, you might have n number of test cases that are not relevant anymore because the code related to them has been deprecated, is dead, is obsolete. So why do you have such a huge test suite? Because that's also leading to a lot of maintenance issues. So can you delete that? But to be able to do that, we need access to your code, which you don't have yet. But we will eventually get there as well. We'll be everywhere, right? Test data generation is, of course, if you're writing test cases, can we help you with test data? Because nobody wants to write a spreadsheet and give first name and last name and email ID and different variants of it and stuff like that, right? So these are the whys behind the use cases that we built for our test case management. Our test case management, as Ganesh mentioned, like most products in the space, are either Jira native or they are cloud native. And we haven't seen too much innovation happening in the space. So what we decided to do is to build like a complete bi-directional product that helps you in all ways. You can work only on Jira, you can work only on the cloud, and everything will get synced. And it becomes an AI-first product where all the test cases, all the flows are actually built with AI in mind. So to give you a rough idea of how that works, we'll just play this for you, and you'll see a demo of some of the things we have built in production. So recording of things in production. we're uploading a PRD in this step. I think it's for an Apple website where we are searching and adding items to a cart. So this is giving all the test scenarios and all the cases for these scenarios. You can select what you like and what you don't want to input into your test cases. It's basically giving you this human in the loop experience where you get to select whether you want a test case or not. So once you add all the test cases, now it's part of the test suite, and you can choose to either run the test cases from here in the LCA solution, or just keep this as part of your test suite. It also shows you what is AI generated versus what is human generated. So here we are only wanting functional cases. We don't want all the cases. Maybe because this test is just a functional test. You're having different sources coming in. Right now it's PDFs and text. You're having more sources coming in as well from any type of documentation. Some data in terms of what we have seen. This is again something we're talking during the lunch as well. Our test case management and some things that we do with test case management. What's interesting here is after, I believe our top customers are GE, L'Oreal, a bunch of folks, when they saw this, they said, okay, maybe we want to try your test case management tool. PayPal is our biggest test case management customer, and they are all using this, right? So things in production already there and already helping people become a lot faster. The next thing that we did is I'll give you maybe just 2 more demos and maybe I'll walk you through them. As an accessibility product person, it pains me to see that we don't have the voiceover. We had it, I think we removed it for some reason. Because people who can't see, then they can't understand what's going on. So we'll ensure that the voiceover is coming in as well, right? But in terms of the next use case, which is low code automation, Ganesh had also mentioned this. We were actually very iffy about low code to begin with, because when we didn't have AI helping us, low code was very, very unreliable. The test recorder was flaky. It would record sometimes, not record sometimes, have some breaks in the middle. The test scripts needed a lot of maintenance. So if you change some elements, if you change the flow, if you change the pages, we can't keep up with that. And overall, just the experience was so subpar that we weren't interested in investing in it. But then what changed? AI came in. How did AI help us? When we took AI and applied it to our low-code testing recorder and script generator, we stopped recording steps and we instead started recording intent. So when we record an intent as someone wants to go through a login flow or someone wants to go through an authentication flow, it doesn't matter whether the ID or the XPath of that element changed. It doesn't matter if the text in that button changed. It doesn't matter if its placement changed. What we know is that in the previous time that the test passed, they were trying to sign in. So we capture that intent. And once we capture that intent, we are able to now, in a much more reliable, accurate manner, take the test forward, write the scripts for it, and then just execute it, right? So this is the biggest change for us in terms of why we are able to now do low code, why we are investing so much in it. Ganesh said try it out. I definitely say try it out because it's now given us a new lease on the low code life, so to speak, which we had given up on before. So two things we have done with low code. One, of course, we have a natural language to steps converter, and you can basically create these scripts in BrowserStack and you can export them in a framework of your choice. The second thing that we have done is to also do self-healing. Today, self-healing works on the basis of locators, but soon it will work based on dynamic elements, timing-based issues, etc., etc. So again, instead of me talking you through it, let's just see it in action, and I'll try to be a voiceover as well. Swati. Complications are with conditional steps, with dynamic elements like date triggers, relative elements like second last, third last, etc. So here we are creating steps using BrowserStack AI based on English instructions, right? So extract the name of the first show and store it in a variable. It's an English instruction. You'll see how this gets converted into a script and gets executed. Dynamic actions, I think we'll take date picker as an example. That's always my favorite. Or see if pricing is in ascending, descending order. So for all the folks who have written scripts for source, destination, and dates, have a look at this to see if this is something that's very easily replicable. So this is a dynamic input where we are saying enter departure and return date anytime in the future, I believe is what we're going to say. Yeah, any available date in the next month. Now it's very hard to script these in. This whole thing is getting done dynamically. Yeah, and it got executed on the LCA platform. Here we are showing a scenario where we are checking that all the results are sorted in ascending or descending order. And again, this is a very dynamic runtime check, right? Verify that flight results are in the ascending order of the price, which is cheapest first, and then it gives you a result to say yes, if that's true or not. Again, everything done in English. These are all examples of various dynamic scenarios that were previously hard to script. Now you can do using AI. I think you can stop. So I hope now with the average voiceover, you are able to understand it better. But these are all examples of, say, dynamic interactions or dynamic aspects that were very hard to script before. Like people have told me, the QAs in my team have told me that it's very, very hard to say, pick any available date. What is available? And date in the future was a very hard thing for them to do, and now they're just doing it with English, right? And before they in fact had framework-specific libraries. They had something for React, something for Flutter, something for something else, and now it's all just one-line English, right? So it's another example. Again, this is how we are trying to automate things for folks who don't have the automation skills or who don't want to invest time in. I mean, you might have the automation skill, but if you can do it in English and finish it off in 5 minutes, and you can keep replaying that, why not, right? The last example I'll give you is with accessibility, and I'll go much faster on this. With accessibility, we are actually doing something very interesting. Most accessibility, so how does accessibility work? It's basically meant for users who either have visual impairments, auditory impairments, motor impairments, or cognitive impairments, right? So they can't either see, hear, operate, or process thoughts like a, I don't want to say normal, but as most people or as a median person would. They might need more time or more inputs. Now, the way we help people with accessibility issues or impairments access software that was not definitely built for them is by checking against the web content accessibility guidelines. Now, these guidelines tell us things like, hey, if you have a button on a phone, it has to be at least of 24 by 24 pixels, because if it's not big enough, then it's too small and I can't tap, right? If you are having images on a screen, and if that screen is being viewed by somebody who's having a visual impairment, they can't see, then they don't know what your image is. So your images should have an alt text. So if you have a person sitting in a beach looking at the sun, this person can't see it. So how do they know that's the image? That's a very nice example, but what about an example where there's actual business value? So if they're going through Amazon, they're going through Flipkart, and they are seeing a Pixel 6a phone, but they can't see the Pixel 6a phone, right? So the screen reader has to announce that based on the alt text, this is a 6a phone, black in color. And then they choose and then they buy. So this is how typically you make software more accessible. The problem is a lot of these directions, a lot of these instructions are very contextual today. So the WCAG, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, say that alt text has to be meaningful. Traditional rule engines can check if alt text is there or not, binary. There, not there, empty, not empty, null, not null, right? But it can't check if it's meaningful or not. A lot of people just add random text, random abstract stuff, and they move on. And then how do you now say whether this is meaningful or not, right? Now, when the screen readers go through images, they have to differentiate between a decorative image, basically just some background, some gradient, etc. And they have to differentiate between an image that actually conveys some meaning, like a chart or a pie chart or a bar graph or something like that. Now, how do you differentiate whether an image is decorative or not? Again, that requires context. So what we are doing with accessibility is we are trying to take all this context which requires humans, and we are trying to build AI models that will help you detect this in an automated way at runtime. Because fundamentally, what are we trying to do? We are trying to solve the third use case that customers told us, can you help me automate? Either through workflow scripts or through AI. So we are now trying to reduce the time people take to get accessibility into their products by ensuring that, yeah, a lot of these checks that are contextual, that are semantic in nature, that require some amount of human interference, can they all be automated via the checks or the engines that we are building? So not only are we building a detection agent, we are also building a remediation agent that tells developers how to fix it. Plus, we are also building things like screen reader automation, where we are helping people automate flows that they spend 2 hours, 3 hours today doing it. So today, typically screen reader automation flows, people go through different screens, They end up looking at each button. They see what is the meaningfulness of the navigation, what are the text that the screen reader is saying, and then they check all this for 2-3 hours. We're trying to automate that as well. So again, I'll give you a glimpse, and we will not play this too much because I want to ensure we have time for questions as well. Swati, you can play maybe half of it. From the beginning, it's fine. We are talking about how many UCAT checks that we do here and how much coverage that means in the real world. Like we'd like to quantify whatever we do. And this is the examples that I was giving in terms of mimicking human intelligence with things that need context. So we are showing you a scan, an accessibility scan. It's going through the page by itself, it's crawling by itself, and it's trying to figure out the issues on this page. So some issues like color contrast has showed up. Some issues like links should be distinguishable from neighboring text has showed up. This is a decorative image, which ideally doesn't need to be visible to a screen reader. So we are saying explicitly hide this. Screen reader shouldn't get confused seeing this image. Cool. Swati, we can stop for now. So that's again an example. I mean, we have these videos, we can share these demos with you, or you can actually see it in live. But I'm sure you get the principal alignment in terms of what we are trying to do, right? It all starts with what the customers asked us. They said, help me consolidate, help me go beyond functional testing, help me automate. Help me consolidate, help me go beyond functional testing, Ganesh covered. Help me automate is what we are covering now, either through workflows or through AI. And these are the various different types of examples that we have. So continuing with our discussion, and I am going to ensure to wrap it up soon. What is it that we do differently that you can't do in a ChatGPT or in Claude or anything or any other available LLM, right? So obviously, while all these generic models can help you, where you get qualitative results, where you hallucinate less, is when you have contextual data. So we have a lot of industry experience and exposure to testing. We have been doing this for years together, like for donkey years, basically. And all that context that we have is what we are applying to our processes. So what we do is we take every problem, we break it down into sub-problems. For each of those sub-problems, we see which is the best LLM. What is the definition of best LLM? 3 things. A, it is able to produce results with maximum coverage. B, it's got good accuracy, because coverage and accuracy are often interchangeable. You cover too much, you start hallucinating a lot. You get too much accuracy, you're covered too less. And the third is in terms of speed. So we want to ensure that the results that we are getting are fast. It doesn't take us too much time. So we take the different LLMs for each sub-job or sub-task, we stitch them together, and then we finally give you an intelligent output where all of these things are coming together for every use case of ours. And then all these use cases come into a product. Then all these products come together as a test platform, and you have all the context and the data coming in one place. That's the seamlessly connected workflows. And now I have my last slide, finally. So obviously the question that always comes in is, what do you do with our data? The answer is nothing. We do nothing with your data. We have test beds. We keep testing on the test beds. So obviously in the beginning phases, the test beds didn't cover all the use cases that is possible in the world. It wasn't exhaustive. So we are continuously running experiments with our customers. If our customers tell us that there is a certain issue in a certain case or a certain scenario, then we involve that scenario also in the test bed. And this is how we have been getting better and better with all the numbers you have been seeing. So all the numbers that you just saw are the most recent numbers. Obviously, when we started, we weren't the best. But with AI, I think fundamentally we are not trying to get 100% because you can never get to 100% coverage. If you get to 100% coverage, there is going to be a huge hit on accuracy. If you get to 100% accuracy, there's going to be a huge hit on coverage. And in the search world, we call this precision versus recall. I'm not sure how many of you relate to that, right? So we are not going to the precision versus recall problem. We basically just want to ensure that we are giving you the most optimal effort because our job, our why at the end of the day is to automate, is to reduce your effort. If we reduce your effort to less, it's not meaningful. If we get so much coverage that accuracy is gone for a toss and then you have to sit and fix all of that, again, it's not meaningful. So that's what we're trying to do. So yes, you will see some hallucinations and we are working on that, Vijay. And we are trying to get better and better at what we do. But yeah, these are all the use cases that we have and the fundamental whys behind it. So sorry if you go to the next one. In case you're interested in hearing more about our test platform capabilities and about the various use cases we do, if you're interested in hearing the why behind the use cases, please feel free to scan this. Yes, hello? Okay, not hello now. Okay.
Okay, all right. No, I think we really saw some cool AI agents in their video. So what I wanted to do is, I think the standard question that most of us will have, right? It all looks good pretty much on the videos, but does it actually work, right? So for the very same region, we want you guys to kind of have a hands-on our 20 plus AI agents that we have. And so once you scan the QR code, you all have your flyers, you all have handphones. So please open the camera, scan the QR code, and do let us know which all products, which all AI agents basically you want to get a free access to, so that we can provide you access, and then it'll help you understand how our AI really works in your landscape, right? So do take a couple of minutes of time, and then if you can scan the QR code.
The agents are products either way.
Yeah.
Because the agents are a part of the product. Fundamentally, what use case are you trying to solve is what we are trying to gauge. Okay, so while people fill this in their own time, can we take questions we have what, 5-10 minutes max? Sorry?
Yes, we'll take questions for like 5 minutes, and then we can move on to the next.
Okay, 5 minutes. He's put me on a very tight constraint. So let's do maybe rapid fire.
I will just get the mic.
Anyone interested in the questions? I can pass on the mic.
Ganesh, you want to come here?
Hi. So it was very nice presentation. Thanks for doing this. So I would like to understand about the automotive examples. Like since we are from Caterpillar background, right? So we work with real hardware, do a lot of testing from hardware to the UI, basically the URL. So I saw a couple of examples related to the UI related stuff, but how the real hardware testing, starting from the requirement till the end results, right? I would like to see one of the examples how you do for the existing company, Tesla or other people you work already, right? So I would like to have that
Sure.
one example.
Sure. So a lot of what we do is for digital assets, webs or apps. We also have private devices, and private devices, we are having smart TVs, we are actually having ATMs as well, we're having a bunch of things. But because these are not requirements that come at scale, it comes specific to certain customers, what we do is we handle these as part of our private devices, and that's a very different offering altogether. It's not something that we talk about in broad scale. So we'll have to discuss with you and your team specifically, saying for what devices you want this, and can we include that as part of our infrastructure, and then can we take it forward from there?
And also one more question is, we talked about, you showed about the test plan, test cases, automation, all those, but how about the coding? Like from the requirement, will it generate automated coding and then do testing and then report and then make sure that it circle back that if any gaps in the requirement versus the result, will it fix it and then complete everything? It's like entire life cycle.
Correct. And that's precisely what Vijay also described, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is you start with the test cases. So basically you start with the PRD.
No,
You just start
not
with the PRD.
test cases, with the requirement, develop the coding. The
Yes.
coding will be developed automatically from the
Yes.
requirement. So will that be part of the...
Yes. So that's what we had shown, that so you start with the requirement, which is a PRD or an unstructured doc. From there, it creates the test scenarios. For the test scenarios, you can say what are the test cases you're interested in. From there, you push a button, it goes to the LCA tool. It starts executing it by itself. Then it gets the results. It shows you the results in our test reporting and analytics suite. where it hits an issue in terms of not being able to run a test, it tries to fix it itself or it tries to heal by itself. And then finally it shows you insights in terms of how your tests are doing, how can you do better, etc., etc.
Last question, maybe. Sorry. So this is related to the like you do coding, right? Automatic
Me,
coding.
specifically,
Sorry, I'm sorry. The AI do automatic coding, but I also wonder like different codings are there, right? So for example, MATLAB is one of the tool like we use for developing the features into the code, right? So those are also part of it. We would like to understand that as well.
I don't think we have MATLAB, but we do support a bunch of frameworks or coding languages, which is common in the test automation suites. I don't think we have MATLAB though, so you might have to talk to the CEs for it. Cool, thank you. Oh, quite a few hands. So you have to moderate. I want to take as many questions, but if he doesn't allow me, then
Please feel free to ask
Hey,
as many questions.
Satish here from Azero. So it was a very nice speech.
Hello.
So we are catering the needs for a web API and mobile, right? So is there any plan for extension of ERPs?
yeah, so actually the enterprise app which Ganesh showed had Salesforce. So we are starting with Salesforce. Eventually we'll move to more enterprise apps.
So is there any tentative timeline for those expansions?
See, the thing is, as product, if I give timeline, the salespeople there, they'll know.
Okay.
They'll come. It's a very murky waters. But no, like right now, Salesforce is what we are trying to complete. And right now, our Salesforce implementation is a independent implementation, as in it doesn't work with integrations and stuff. So we are first finishing that journey. Then we'll eventually go into SAP and Workday and other implementations as well.
Perfect. Thanks.
Sure.
Hi, this is Jayapriya
Hey,
from
Ganesh,
Jivasix. Yeah, I just wanted to understand whether we are able to generate test cases based on the design document. Because most of the cases, like we don't get a proper structured or even unstructured requirement document from the client. We only get mockups, Figmas, based on which we go for approval and we start the implementation and stuff. So are we able to generate test cases having the Figma as an input or the wireframe as an input?
Yes,
so do
absolutely.
we have this?
Absolutely. So today we allow a PDF. The PDF can have images. So if you can export your files as PDF files. So the way I look at it is, I also get asked this question saying, do you support videos? We don't support videos, but if you use Zoom, you can give me the transcript and I can upload that. So, I mean, we do have workarounds to make it work today, but eventually we are trying to make it more friction-free and ensure that it's all one-click integrations across all the tools you usually have your data and context in.
Just one more question.
Sure.
We deal with a lot of types of testing. So one of the testing we do for Canada government project is IVR testing. So that is a huge clientele for us. And I've been struggling to get automation in IVR testing. It's a niche skill. So do we have any support for IVR test automation or, test case generation?
Again, it will go the private devices route. The answer I was giving her before, again, it will go that route.
Okay, we'll take 2 more questions, but until then, folks, if you can scan the QR code, we have received just half of the response from the entire audience. Please do scan the QR codes. You have it in the flyer, and if you can help us with your inputs over there.
I'm Madhu from Purchasing Power. So we have used BrowserStack and the AI capabilities of test case generator to answer your question, ma'am. We are using design documents for our test case generator. But all that I had a question is, say for example, we implement bigger projects in different phases. At that point, what happens is we have multiple JIRAs or defects created that doesn't get converted into test case as a coverage gap. Maybe in phase 2, those should be added to our existing suite. That capability AI is not giving us today. Probably those are something that we should look for in the future with BrowserStack. That's something my observation
Yes,
is.
we are working on that. We're definitely working on that.
Thank you.
I'm Madhu Mehta. So my question is, you started talking about fragmented, right? Exactly the same point. So we have multiple platforms. So we have already the existing test cases. So we started exploring BrowserStack a quarter back. So do you help migrate the existing test cases, from the current platform? Because there are multiple teams, they are using their own suits. So do you help migrate the legacy test cases from there to BrowserStack?
Yeah, absolutely. We do help in migrating test cases from other platforms to BrowserStack. We do have an SLA around that as well. So we do promise a time frame for migration as well.
So the next question is, your showcase on the website and the portal. So that is fine. Actually, our thing is would be from end to end, say from e-commerce, placing the orders, licensing, everything. So is there something, you support end-to-end platform testing as such?
That's basically an entire workflow, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we do that workflow. You can either do it manually or we also have our automation scripts to do it. So are you asking this from a low code perspective?
Yeah, because right now it is all fragmented, one particular team e-commerce, they test only e-commerce, and the licensing, they do only licensing. But from an end-to-end perspective, right, if a new feature and we wanted to release, we wanted to test it out end-to-end.
Sure.
So how does BrowserStack can help?
So that's very similar to the experience that we had showed on the video, right? So basically you're going to product catalog, picking an airport, you're going to the order placement page, filling in all your details there. Then you're going to the checkout page, filling in all your details there. Then you're placing the order and checking the address and delivery date and stuff. So it is an end-to-end workflow even there. So you can go from page to page, workflow to workflow, and have that recorded in LC as well.
Yeah, but it's all on the front end, right? I'm asking about the back end also, you'll be able to validate and...
You're talking about the API responses.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
we don't have that as part of the LCA yet, but we do actually have an API testing product that's coming up as well. So that should help you with that, but it'll be independent of the LCA flow for today. Eventually, we'll bring it all together.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. I would like to talk more about that.
Yes. Yeah, happy to talk after this.
Yeah, I'll just take 10 seconds over here. My name is Mayuresh. I'm from the customer engineering team or the solutions engineering, sales engineering, whatever you want to call. There were a couple of questions. One was from Caterpillar or someone from Caterpillar. So we do have, we've solved for use cases which require very bespoke devices like Bluetooth latches, devices, point of sale devices, a lot of those things. So very happy to have that conversation. And there was someone who was from Kerala government and IVR solutions. So we have a feature called as voice injection, that kind of a thing. We are from the solutions engineering team. If you have anything bespoke, we're very happy to talk to you and we can solve for it. There are 3 booths outside and 3 people standing over there. So feel free to pose all sorts of questions to them. Thank you.